I was the housekeeper's daughter, eventually taking her place, married to Marcus for 10 years. He never touched me, living a debauched life until he was drugged and forced himself on me. I got pregnant, but he made me have a C-section to remove the child. No anesthesia, only ruthless cruelty. When I woke up, he was holding another woman, calling me a dog and saying I was worthless to him, but I survived. Now, I refuse to be his victim. I'm so sorry, Gracie. Grandma is the one who hurt you and your mother, Grandma said, her voice choked with guilt. Suddenly, she slammed her cane against the floor. Marcus, that beast, completely blinded by that vixen, not even sparing his own child. What a disgrace to our family. I knelt before her, my heart twisting in agony, trying to suppress the pain within me. You saved my mother's life back then, and now I've lost her because of Marcus. A life for a life. I suppose that makes us even. Please, let me go. Hearing this, Grandma quickly helped me up, her eyes filled with sorrow and remorse. My dear child. It's all Grandma's fault. I thought a child would make him settle down, but instead, it only hurt you. After your mother's funeral, I'll send you away. I dragged my weak body, silently managing the funeral arrangements, when Marcus called, commanding me as usual, be back in 10 minutes to cook for Tiff. She wants lobster and meringue. His tone was devoid of warmth, as if I were just a tool at his command. You ruined her appetite before, and it took me forever to get her in a good mood. Don't mess up this time. I lightly touched the unhealed scars on my stomach and arms, remembering that just a few days ago, Tiffany specifically requested spicy shrimp. The moment I brought the fish to the table, I felt nauseous, which caused Tiffany to lose her appetite too. She slammed her chopsticks onto the table. If you don't want to cook for me, just say so. I explained, no, it's not that. Since I've been pregnant, I can't stand the smell of fish. To my surprise, when she heard this, she suddenly picked up the entire plate of fish and threw it at me. The scalding broth instantly covered me. A scream of pain was barely squeezed from my throat, and tears streamed down my face. Marcus, startled by the sound, rushed out, but only cared about Tiffany. What happened? Are you hurt? His gaze completely ignored me. Tiffany feigned distress, her eyes welling up with tears. Marcus, don't let her cook for me anymore. After all, she's carrying your child. She's acting so precious. She deliberately threw up in front of me just to stop me from eating. When I said something, she even tried to splash soup on me. Good thing I reacted fast, or I would have been disfigured. Wah! No matter how I explained, Marcus didn't believe me. To appease Tiffany and get her to eat, he ordered them to cut me open, forcibly removing the 3-month-old fetus from my womb. I'd like to see you pretend to vomit without a child inside you. To punish me, Marcus instructed the doctors not to give me anesthesia. The intense pain washed over me like a tide. I gradually lost consciousness and eventually blacked out. When I woke up again, Marcus was holding Tiffany, giving me a cold glance. Grace, you're nothing but a dog at the residence. How dare you even dream of carrying my child? If you hadn't tricked Grandma into making me marry you, I would have never touched you. Consider this a lesson. Don't ever upset Tiff again. Every word pierced my heart like a knife, and a chill spread through my entire body. I bit down on my lips, desperately suppressing my tears. My hands unconsciously clenched into fists, my nails digging into my flesh, but the pain only made me feel more awake. I had believed that 10 years of companionship and devotion would change things, but now I understood that in his eyes, I was still worthless and utterly undeserving of any pity. Thinking that I would be able to leave this place in a few days, I softly replied, all right. Seeing me busy in the kitchen, Tiffany leaned close to my ear and sneered, you're just as trashy as your dead mother, willing to do anything to please Marcus. But no matter how much you do, in his eyes, you're nothing but a housekeeper. Hearing her insult my mother, I couldn't hold back anymore and slapped her across the face with a resounding smack. Her face instantly turned red. Bitch, you dare hit me? Tiffany yanked my hair violently, slamming my head against the wall. I felt a wave of dizziness. My body hadn't recovered yet, and I collapsed heavily onto the floor. Just then, Marcus returned, instinctively reaching out to help me up, but quickly stepped in front of me, showing him the side of her face it hit, and whined sweetly, Marcus, she hit me. You have to stand up for me. Marcus's face instantly darkened. He ordered someone to hold me down, then slapped me 99 times, leaving me gasping in pain. The wound on my abdomen reopened from the recent struggle, and blood gushed out. Soaking my clothes, he gave me a look of disgust. then walked away with a triumphant Tiffany by his side. None of the surrounding staff dared to help me. I lay weakly on the ground, my heart filled with despair. I wanted to join my mother and child. Just as I thought I was about to die, Grandma arrived in time and quickly rushed me to the community hospital. When the doctor informed her that my uterus had been removed, Grandma's face instantly turned pale with shock, her gaze vacant. "What did you say? How could this be?" That day, when I mentioned being unable to have more children, she thought it was just anger talking. She had no idea that Marcus, to please Tiffany, had instructed the doctor to remove my uterus during the surgery to prevent any future complications. Grandma was trembling with rage as she dialed Marcus's phone. "You beast, how could you do something like this to Gracie? Get back here right now. It's all her own fault. I'm busy shopping with Tiff. I don't have time." On the other end of the phone, Marcus's voice was cold and ruthless, chilling me to the bone. Grandma clutched my hand tightly, tears in her eyes, her face filled with remorse. "That beast actually dealt you such a cruel blow. Grandma won't be able to face your mother even in the grave after I was discharged. Grandma, to prevent me from being hurt again, had me move in with her. As I was packing my things at home, I unexpectedly ran into Marcus. He saw me with my luggage, his brow slightly furrowed, and his tone full of reproach. You were the one who laid hands on Tiff first. And you still dare to complain. Don't think you can do whatever you want just because Grandma spoils you. I will never accept you." Tiffany stood by, giving a sarcastic sneer, rushing out so late. "Are you perhaps taking something you shouldn't, planning to sell it off?" With that, she snatched my bag and emptied its contents. My heart clenched. Seeing the porcelain doll my father left me shattered into pieces on the floor, my heart felt like it was being ripped apart, and tears almost spilled from my eyes. "Are you done checking? If there's nothing else, I'm leaving." I crouched down, trembling as I picked up the shattered fragments, silently putting them back into my bag, then turned and walked away. Seeing my reaction, Marcus's expression showed a hint of panic. He chased after me, his face filled with concern. "Are you going to the community hospital to be with Aunt?" I looked up at him, a surge of emotion in my heart. He still didn't know that my mother, Sarah, had already passed away. The very day he had the doctor remove my child, Tiffany deliberately went to my mother Sarah's bedside to gloat. Enraging her to death, I didn't answer. Marcus continued. "I'll drive you to the community hospital. We can also check on Aunt." Just then, his phone rang, and Tiffany's voice came through. "Marcus, my stomach hurts so much. I wonder if I ate something bad." Hearing her voice, Marcus immediately looked tense. He hurried a few steps forward, then suddenly turned back to me and said, "Don't blame Tiff. She didn't mean it. I'll find you an identical porcelain doll. Don't be sad." So he still remembered how important that porcelain doll was to me. It was the only keepsake my father had left me. I shook my head slightly, my voice cold. "No, thank you. I don't care for it." He froze, his expression complex. After a few seconds of hesitation, he finally turned and walked away, watching his back recede into the distance. I clutched the bag in my hand, a wave of bitterness washing over me. I silently turned and left, never wanting to look back again. On the day of Sarah's funeral, my phone rang. Marcus's voice came through the receiver, cold and distant. "I found you a porcelain restorer. Take the porcelain doll to him to fix it." A wave of disgust surged through me. I coldly refused. "No, thank you." There was silence on the other end for a few seconds, followed by his heavy sigh. "Do you know how much effort it took me to find this restorer? Don't be ungrateful. Sarah passed away. I'm holding vigil. I don't have time," I replied softly, trying to suppress the anger and grief within me. "Grace, you're actually saying things that curse your own mother just to spite me." His accusation pierced my heart like a needle. A sharp pain shot through me, and I hung up the phone directly. After a while, Grandma came over. Finding absent, she insisted that I contact him. I reluctantly called him back. Suddenly, I heard Tiffany's deliberately faint moans and seductive gasps. It was obvious what they were doing. My face instantly paled. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard Marcus's cold, sneering voice. "Didn't you just insist you didn't want it? Why are you calling back now? Let me tell you, you've missed your chance." I leaned against the cold wall, my heart twisting in agony. Grandma, standing beside me, heard it too. Her face flushed with anger, and she furiously ordered James, "Go and bring Marcus back." Half an hour later, James returned, his face grave, and reported, "The young master refuses to come back. He says we're ganging up to deceive him. just like we forced him to marry back then. 10 years ago, Marcus and Tiffany were in love the day before their wedding. Tiffany backed out at the last minute to chase an idol. To save the family's reputation, Grandma made me marry in her place. At that time, my mother, Sarah, was gravely ill and desperately needed money. It was Grandma who extended a helping hand. I reluctantly agreed to the marriage. Marcus and I grew up together. Although there was a vast difference in our social status, he always cared for me deeply, never looked down on my background, and even defended me in front of others. I had thought that even if he didn't love me after we married, our shared history and growing up together would make life bearable. But to my surprise, after the wedding, Marcus was like a different person. Not only did he find fault with everything I did, but he also constantly made things difficult for me. In public, I was the glamorous Mrs. Hayes, but in private, I was nothing more than a housekeeper at his beck and call. For 10 years of marriage, he never showed me any intimacy. It wasn't until half a year ago that he was drugged and forced himself on me. After that incident, his attitude changed slightly, and we shared a period of tenderness. After I became pregnant, my heart was filled with anticipation, believing that life finally held some hope. However, a month ago, Tiffany returned, and everything reverted to how it was, or even worse. The more I thought about it, the more heartbroken I felt. I tried to comfort Grandma. It's all right. If he doesn't come, then he doesn't. Deep down, however, I didn't want him to come. He didn't deserve to. After the funeral, I said goodbye to Grandma, holding 2 urns, one large and one small, and set off on the road back to Maplewood. I carefully placed both urns beside my father's tombstone. While paying my respects to my father, I unexpectedly saw Riley. She was my childhood playmate, the daughter of my father's comrade in arms. She squeezed my hand, her eyes glistening with tears, and choked out, "We've been looking for you and Sarah all these years." When my father died, I had just started elementary school. To better take care of me, my mother, Sarah, took me to the residence to work as a housekeeper. It was there that I met Marcus, and as I grew up, I fell deeply in love with him. Riley warmly invited me to her home for dinner. Upon learning that my mother, Sarah, had passed away, Uncle's eyes welled up with tears. "Your father was a hero. He sacrificed his life to save mine, and I failed to protect his family. You and your mother must have suffered greatly all these years. You've been through so much, child." A pang of sadness tightened my chest, and tears streamed uncontrollably down my face. Seeing this, Aunt gently patted my hand. "Child, if you don't mind, you can be our honorary daughter. Please, make yourself at home here from now on." Riley excitedly jumped up beside me. "This is great. I finally have a sister." I nodded slightly, a flicker of warmth rising in my heart. Meanwhile, Marcus noticed I hadn't come home for several days. His brows furrowed as he called Chris, his assistant. "Go to the community hospital and check on Aunt. If everything's all right, tell her to come home soon and cook for Tiff." When returned, his face bore a grave expression. "Young Miss isn't at the community hospital," the nurse said. "Aunt passed away a week ago." This news hit Marcus like a thunderbolt. His face instantly turned pale, filled with disbelief. "That's impossible. How could she?" My image from a few days ago, when I left, flashed in his mind. Doubt and fear intertwined, making him increasingly uneasy. He rushed into my room. Seeing my clothes still there, he let out a slight sigh of relief, but then a wave of anger surged, and he became convinced that Grandma, the community hospital, and I were conspiring to deceive him. That night, he was out drinking with Tiffany. As the alcohol took hold, a sudden stomach pain struck him. He instinctively dialed my phone, but found it unreachable. A surge of irritation and anxiety flooded him again. Left with no choice, he dialed Grandma's phone, his voice urgent. "My stomach hurts. Tell Grace to bring me medicine." "Gracie is already gone," Grandma replied coldly. "Grandma, stop joking. I know you want to set us up, but I only have Tiff in my heart. Tell her to bring me the medicine quickly. Don't test my patience." Marcus's voice grew increasingly agitated. Grandma angrily hung up the phone. Tiffany sneered from the side. "I don't know what kind of spell that bitch Grace put on Grandma to make her so obedient. With her poor and shabby background, how could she possibly bear to leave the residence? She can't even make up a decent lie," but remained silent, not agreeing with her for the first time. Fueled by alcohol, he returned to my room. his gaze wandering around before finally landing on the letter on the table. He picked up the letter, his fingertips trembling slightly. It simply read, "Marcus, goodbye, and never again." Marcus immediately arranged for people to search for my whereabouts that night. 2 hours later, Chris finally brought news. After Sarah's funeral, Miss left, and her whereabouts are unknown. Hearing this, Marcus's heart tightened, and he clenched his fist. "Keep looking until you find her." Tiffany, standing nearby, showed an expression of displeasure. "She's gone, so what? Why bother looking for her? She never belonged here anyway, always getting in the way. Now that she's finally gone, why don't we just?" As she spoke, she reached out and hooked her arm around Marcus's neck, trying to kiss him, but abruptly pushed her away, his eyes cold and his voice tinged with anger. "She's my wife. You're the one who should leave." Tiffany stumbled and fell back onto the floor, her eyes wide with shock and indignation. Marcus ignored her. He rushed out of the room, burst into Grandma's villa, searching everywhere until he woke her up. Grandma's face was displeased as she glared at him. "What in the world are you doing, causing a ruckus in the middle of the night?" "Grandma, where is Grace?" Marcus asked, his voice anxious. Grandma angrily tapped him with her cane and said coldly, "Weren't you always dissatisfied with her? Now she's gone. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Why are you looking for her?" "Grandma, I beg you, please just tell me where she is, all right?" Marcus knelt down desperately, his eyes full of pleading, but Eleanor remained unmoved. She turned her head away and stayed silent. Just then, Tiffany walked in and tried to persuade Marcus. "She's just a worthless trash born to a housekeeper. She's not worthy of you at all. She's gone. So let's not bother Grandma's sleep. Let's go back." Grandma's face suddenly darkened upon hearing this. She slapped Tiffany hard, angrily rebuking her. "Who are you calling worthless trash? If you hadn't cheated back then, how would I have heard Gracie? And now you have the nerve to badmouth her in front of me." Marcus looked up in shock, staring at Grandma in disbelief. "Grandma, what are you saying?" Grandma sighed, signaling for James to tell Marcus the truth. It turned out that the day before the wedding, Grandma had accidentally discovered Tiffany cheating, and even pregnant with another man's child. To protect the family's reputation, she decisively forced Tiffany away and made me marry in her place. Grandma had seen my affection for Marcus and worried I would refuse, lied, saying that Tiffany had chosen to leave on her own. James, worried Marcus wouldn't believe it, specifically pulled up several segments of security footage for him. The security footage showed Tiffany triumphantly flaunting Marcus's kindness towards her in the hospital room to my mother, Sarah, making every effort to highlight Marcus's mistreatment of me. Sarah was consumed with rage upon hearing these things. When she learned I had been cut open, she could barely breathe and fainted on the spot. Other clips recorded the entire process of every argument I had with her. As the evidence was revealed one by one, Tiffany's face grew paler. She fell to her knees, sobbing profusely as she pleaded with Marcus. "I know I was wrong, but it was all because I love you." Marcus's gaze was cold, his face filled with fury. "So you instigated all of this, and you even caused Aunt's death. The real bitch is you." With that, he furiously raised his foot and savagely kicked her in the abdomen. Tiffany stumbled backward in pain, clutching her stomach, as blood seeped from her lower body. Trembling, she reached out to Marcus, pleading, "Save me. I'm pregnant." Marcus remained expressionless, stating coldly, "A wicked woman like you doesn't deserve to carry my child." The memory of all he had done to me for Tiffany when I was pregnant flashed in his mind, and a surge of intense regret and anger welled up within him. To avenge me, he ordered Tiffany to be dragged away and subjected to the same procedure he had forced upon me, making her lose the child in her womb and removing her uterus. Upon hearing this, Tiffany's vision went black, and she fainted. Grandma tried to persuade him. The child is innocent, however. Marcus wasn't listening. In her fury, Grandma suffered a heart attack and collapsed. The scene immediately plunged into chaos. When woke up, she learned that her child was gone and she could never have children again. She completely broke down and went completely insane. Marcus stood by, watching her collapse with a cold, stern gaze, not a trace of guilt in his heart. Finally, he sent her to Rosewood Hospital, stating cruelly, "Don't bother with her, just let her rot." Less than a month later, Tiffany was found hanged in the hospital room's bathroom, her clothes disheveled and her body covered in wounds. When learned of this news, his face remained emotionless. He was only concerned with searching everywhere for my whereabouts. In the dead of night, he tossed and turned, Unable to sleep, he came to my room again, for the first time. He realized how simple and sparse this room was, worse than even the housekeeper's quarters, compared to the princess guest room he had meticulously prepared for Tiffany. It was a world of difference. His heart sank as he remembered all the commands he had given me after Tiffany returned, rushing me to decorate her room, cook, and clean, and I had always endured silently, never complaining. Recalling those times, Marcus's heart was filled with self-reproach. He replayed the memories over and over, spending every day in regret and self-condemnation, punishing himself. Until one day, he opened the drawer beside my bed and unexpectedly found an ultrasound picture and a baby hat. I had picked them out with him the first time he accompanied me shopping after I became pregnant. In that moment, his heart felt as if it was instantly ripped to shreds. Everything before his eyes made him recall the few happy times we had. He could no longer control himself and burst into tears. Under the careful attention of Riley's family, my body quickly recovered, but an indescribable emotion still clung to my heart. Riley noticed my low spirits and suggested we go on a trip to clear my mind. This was the first time in my life I had truly traveled. For the first time, I genuinely understood what freedom felt like. Before, at the residence, I lived under someone else's roof, beholden to their whims, always following the rules. Even after marriage, I remained cautious, putting Marcus first in everything, completely losing myself. All those years I lived with him, I had no human rights, let alone freedom. The next time I saw Marcus, he stopped me halfway up a mountain road. His face was haggard, his eyes glistening with tears. He suddenly embraced me. His voice choked. "I finally found you. Will you come home with me?" I pushed him away forcefully, replying coldly, "That's not my home at all. Of course it's your home, we're married. My home is your home." He argued urgently, trying to hold me back, "But we never even got our marriage license, did we?" I retorted, my voice icy, trying to suppress my emotions. Grandma had forced him to marry me back then, although he unwillingly went through with the wedding. He consistently refused to register our marriage. He publicly demeaned my status, saying I was utterly unworthy of him. The social set all knew that Marcus had an unacknowledged wife. Every time I accompanied him to events, I had to face endless ridicule and exclusion, yet he turned a blind eye to it all. I once asked him for help, and he casually replied, "You deserved it." I kept telling myself that things would change over time, but 10 years passed, and nothing changed. "We can go get our marriage license right now and start over," he said, his voice full of urgency. "Is there still a point?" I retorted coldly, "Of course there is. I know you've always secretly loved me." His voice was incredibly pleading. I thought I had hidden it well all this time, so he knew all along. In my first year of high school, with Grandma's help, I was able to enroll in the same Windsor as him. Back then, as the housekeeper's daughter, I suffered a lot of bullying. I often came home covered in bruises, but I never dared to tell anyone, until one day, a few girls surrounded me. Just about to attack, Marcus suddenly appeared and saved me. To make the school deal with the bullies, he publicly defended me, saying I was a member of the Hayes family. From then on, I was never bullied again, and my feelings for him quietly changed. However, I knew too well the gap in our social statuses and never dared to hope we could be together. That period after our wedding had momentarily shown me a glimmer of hope. But in the end, it was just my own wishful thinking. "I did love you once, but I don't anymore," I said calmly. "No, that's impossible. I don't believe it. Are you still angry with me?" He retorted anxiously, unable to accept the truth. "Nothing is impossible. It's been 10 years, and I'm tired. Even if there was once a lot of love, it has long been exhausted by your repeated hurts. From now on, don't come looking for me again." After I finished speaking, I felt a sense of relief, as if a heavy stone had finally been lifted from my heart. Marcus's face instantly turned pale, as if I had stabbed him fiercely. Just as I was about to turn and leave, my phone rang. James's anxious voice came through. "Gracie, Grandma is dying. Can you come back?" I didn't want any more TIs to the residence, but Grandma had always been good to me, so in the end, I agreed to James's request. Riley noticed my mood and offered to come with me. When Eleanor saw me, a relieved smile appeared on her face as she gently stroked my cheek. "You've gained some weight. It seems Riley's family has taken good care of you. Now Eleanor can rest easy." Going to apologize to Sarah, I felt a bit helpless and could only hold her hand tightly. "Gracie, you are a wonderful person. Marcus doesn't deserve you," Grandma said, her voice gentle yet firm. Her words were like a ray of warm sunlight, instantly dispelling the gloom in my heart. However, I soon noticed Marcus's expression turning grim. He remained silent, turned, and walked away, his back appearing particularly lonely and helpless. After Eleanor passed away, Marcus finally spoke. "I'm sorry, I was misled by Tiffany before. When she left back then, she deliberately left a letter saying that you instigated Grandma to force her away. I believed her. And that's why. So that's it. No wonder you completely changed after we got married," I said with a cold laugh, a hint of bitterness rising in my heart. "Marcus, we grew up together. Was I truly that worthless in your eyes?" "Never mind. It doesn't matter anymore," he asked cautiously. "Have you forgiven me?" I looked him straight in the eye, my words like knives. "You caused the death of my child, and you caused the death of my mother, Sarah. I will never forgive you in this lifetime." After a long silence, he slowly began. "Regarding Sarah, I'm very sorry. I saw the security footage and realized it was Tiffany who caused Aunt's death. Rest assured, she's dead. I've avenged Aunt." A chill ran through my heart. I responded calmly. "The one who truly caused my mother, Sarah's, death wasn't Tiffany. It was you." He fell silent again for a long time, his expression dazed. Suddenly, he pulled out a baby hat, his eyes glistening. "We can still have another child," I scoffed, a sharp pang in my heart. "Have you forgotten? You had the doctor remove my uterus." The words were like a sharp blade, instantly draining the color from his face. He stammered, wanting to argue but unable to find the words. I just wanted to leave, to untangle myself from him. However, he gripped my hand tightly, saying anxiously, "You can't just leave me like this." His voice trembled, his eyes revealing deep panic and helplessness. "Grandma is gone. Now I only have you. I can't lose you too. After you're gone, no one will remind me to eat on time. No one will wait for me to come home at night. And no one will bring me medicine when my stomach hurts." His voice gradually grew softer, filled with helplessness and dread. "Without you, I really can't go on." With that, his tears fell uncontrollably, and his hands gripped me tightly, refusing to let go. I forcefully pulled my hand away, rebuking him angrily. "You deserve it." Upon hearing my words, Marcus's face showed profound despair, his expression on the verge of breaking. He suddenly pulled out a kitchen knife. Seeing this, Riley immediately stepped in front of me, asking cautiously, "What do you think you're doing?" He looked at me, slowly knelt down, his voice low and pleading. "Please, stay, will you?" Seeing my indifference, he slowly pressed the tip of the knife against his own neck, a desperate glint in his eyes. "If you insist on leaving, I'll die right here in front of you." I could hardly believe my ears, my heart filled with shock and unease. Just then, Riley suddenly spat at him. "Pfft, I've seen plenty of people like you. You didn't appreciate her when she was here, and now that she's leaving, you're acting like you can't live without her. You want to die, huh? Then go ahead and die. You caused Aunt's death, and you personally killed your own flesh and blood. Now you're trying to use your life to threaten Gracie. A piece of scum like you doesn't deserve to live." Marcus froze at her words, the knife in his hand slowly lowered, and a flicker of confusion and helplessness crossed his eyes. I sighed, my voice calm but firm. "Marcus, you deserve to die, but even if you really did, it wouldn't bring those who are gone back. I still won't forgive you." With that, I didn't spare him another glance. I took Riley's hand and walked straight away. He remained kneeling there blankly, watching my retreating figure until I disappeared from his sight. He suddenly covered his face with both hands, his shoulders trembling slightly. Uncontrollable sobs escaped through his fingers, and the suppressed pain erupted in that instant. After returning to Maplewood, with the support of Riley's family, I opened the Bloom on opening day. A familiar figure appeared at the shop entrance. After months apart, Marcus looked incredibly gaunt, his complexion dull, his eyes deeply sunken, as if he had aged several years overnight. He held a bouquet of vibrant roses in his hand, slowly walking towards me, his breathing slightly hurried. "Congratulations. I'm sorry I never sent you flowers before." A mix of emotions swirled within me. I managed a faint smile and graciously accepted the flowers. "Thank you. Is there anything else?" He paused slightly at my words, seeming a bit dejected, his eyes dimming. Then, he took a delicate wooden doll from his pocket, a hint of nervousness and anticipation in his gaze. "I carved this myself. It's exactly like the one your father gave you. It will never break again." I instinctively took a step back, refusing coldly. "I don't want it." He suddenly knelt, his eyes glistening with tears. "Please take it. This is the first gift I've ever given you, and it will be the last." His voice trembled slightly, laced with a hint of fear and helplessness. "Perhaps this is retribution. A while ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. I don't have much time left. I've transferred all my assets to your name. Consider it compensation for my past mistakes." I froze at the news, my emotions complicated. After much internal struggle, I finally reached out and took the wooden doll. Seeing me take the wooden doll, a long-lost smile appeared on his face. After passed away, I donated all his assets to Hope Charity. I drew a line under my past and began a new life.